The network marketing industry has changed dramatically in the last decade. With the advent of social media, digital marketing, the rise of the influencer, and all the tech platforms that promise something extraordinary, how do you separate the helpful from the hype? Welcome to Beyond the Network Marketing Dream, where authenticity and relationships, simplicity and duplication are at the core of everything we focus on. The fundamentals of building still work. Join us as we go beyond the network marketing dream.
Well, welcome to the show, everybody. Patrick Shaw here, and I am with Tasha Smith, and Tasha is in sunny California, which is exciting. Tasha, you are CEO, founder of Emerge Sales Training. We've already had a quick little discussion on the power of authenticity and language, and so excited to have you on the show today. We're going to have some fun.
I am super excited to be here, and I love your background and what you're doing in the industry as well. So I'm excited to be here too.
So you cut your teeth. Let's hear the backstory. You cut your teeth in real sales. Like, Cutco knives is no joke. Like, it's not for the faint of heart. You got to get out there. You got to hustle. You got to face your demons. So I know the success you had there prepared you for what you do today. But tell us a little bit about that story. How did you get to the place you're at now?
Sure. So I started selling Cutco knives when I was 20 years old, in between my junior and senior year of college. I was pre-law, so I was going to studying for my LSAT, doing the whole thing. And my whole life, I wanted to be someone who encouraged people to be the best version of themselves. Now I was in college, so I didn't know what to do with my life except go to more college. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of gave up on that idea of encouraging people. I thought maybe I'd be a therapist, but I was like, there's no way I could emotionally handle that. And I ended up selling knives. My roommate had sold the summer before. So when I showed up and I saw the product, I was like, I know this stuff. This is awesome. And truthfully, you say that like, oh, that's like you cut your teeth, you must have been really skilled. And I wasn't really skilled at all. So I was pre-law. My parents sent me to private school because I wasn't friendly enough in elementary school. I was the kid that scowled. And I mean, being female, right? I was the one that was a classic smile more. If you just smiled, like I was just like watching people and having, that thinking face that a lot of women have. And so that was my personality. But I love the product. And Cutco has been in business since 1949. And so they had their sales process really dialed in. And I had access to a great leader. And so I went through like the basic training. I read from the paper and I sold stuff. I did not sell to my mom. So I was 9 out of 10 my first weekend. And my only no sell was my mom. And I wasn't exceptional by any means, but I was able to like say the things, get my bearings, get my confidence. And that really, I was able to do it. I was able to do it well. And maybe it was not even a month.
You were probably just gritty too. I mean,
yeah, I am a former athlete. So I did play basketball in college and in high school. So, but I was just going to do what my coach told me to do to the best of my abilities. And I loved it. I really loved it. Like to cut a penny in front of someone's kids and to like throw a lemon in midair and slice it, like that was just super fun. But I just read the thing, and about 4 or 5 weeks in, there was this guy, his name is Chris, and he was 0 for 13. And my manager said, Tasha, will you take this person field training? I said, sure. So I had a no sale. I got 5 referrals. And he watched all that happen. And I was like, well, there it is. And then he sold $3,300 in the next 5 days. And he was your stereotypical computer science major at Cal State Fullerton, 18 years old, super shy. But the next week, he went from cowering and unconfident to speaking at a team meeting in front of 40 people and sharing his story about how field training like changed his life and his confidence.
And that just filled your soul like that.
And so I basically tossed the LSAT buck. I was like, this is it. I'm devoting my life to sales training. Because, and here's the idea is when you know how to talk to people and you know how to sell effectively and ethically, you don't have to worry about how you're going to feed your family, how you're going to make a living. The quality of your relationships is improved when you know how to sell. And so that's what I set out to do.
So to talk about, like, it's challenging today because so many people are leaning on systems or social media or hiding behind social. I think some people are losing the art of the conversation. Like, how to engage, they think that being interesting is more important than being interested, right? Is that they're not connecting with people on a personal level. How, one, do you get them to understand the importance given the environment we're in? And then we can talk more about how do you execute on it. But how do you get them to even understand the importance of it?
Yeah, so we've been running our company for 7 years doing, the sales and leadership, how to talk to people stuff. And we started coaching on social media a few years ago, basically taking the social media strategies that I learned and moving them with our network marketing clients. And the resistance that we kept getting, actually, 75% of network marketers are women. And the biggest resistance they had to social media was actually they felt inauthentic. And so they were withdrawing from social media, at least the people I was talking to. So I think you have two types: the ones who were like, I'll just be inauthentic and it's fine. And then there's this huge, like, most network marketers that I run into, they believe in the life-changing properties of their product. And that is one of the main reasons they are with their company, and that they are like, I am doing this because I believe this product needs to be in the hands of people. Also, I can make money doing it. And so they don't want to be inauthentic. And so they were being mute. And so what we worked with them on is, what would you say to a person in person? And they're like, well, this is what I would say. I said, why don't we say that here online? And so what we've really tried to do is help people to take what they would have said in person and translate it online, as opposed to looking at virtual communication and in-person communication as two different beasts. The idea of, like, don't say something on social media that you wouldn't say in person. And most people misunderstand that for being cruel. But what I really mean is, like, and if you're watching the video, this will make more sense, but this will make Patrick laugh. Like, would I ever come up to you at a party like this with a brochure in front of my face and say, hi, it's nice to meet you, or to take a quote and show up, hi, it's nice to meet you. So we start with, like, how would we meet people? We would say with our face, hi, it's nice to meet you. Oh, I like your sweater. And you'd find something in common and you start from there. And so what we encourage people to do is to do that.
And spark up the conversation from there. Like, make a friend first and then work on the business side. If, I always talk about the questions are a window to a person's soul. If you can identify and find out what problems they're having, right, in their real life, then maybe you can offer a solution. But the first thing you have to do is find out if there's even some interest or common ground or rapport that you can build.
Well, and do you like to talk to them? Because our best case scenario is you meet them, they buy stuff, they become a committed builder, and they're a key to your organization. So, like, do you even like to talk to them? Or are we just trying to, get the products in their hands? And I think that, that philosophy, so our sales philosophy, just to back up, is, you believe in the life-changing properties of your products. You have an ethical obligation to learn how to sell well, because if you don't know how to sell well, then your customer they don't get it, right? And so we want to really start with the communication skills. And so the idea is that, like, what if it works? What if you solve a problem and they become a loyal customer? And so we need to focus more on problems that people have and goals that they have. And more than products. And I think a lot of people are like, well, I need to sell my products. And I was like, well, first we need to find problems. And I think what happens is that people mesh together the customer journey. And I'm sure you've seen this a million times, where they're trying to network and convert and recruit all in the same conversation. And that just,
they're putting a dollar sign on people's heads, and it makes it a very difficult conversation, because the entire time they're thinking in the back of their own mind, like, how am I going to transition this to a sale? Instead of let's separate that. Let's see if we like each other first, and if there's some common ground.
well, that's right. And selling on the fly isn't effective.
Yeah.
Right? Because, you go to the park with your company hat, your company backpack, or the online version of this, of course. And someone's like, what's your company? And then it's like, right? You vomit all over them. And then what happens to their face, Patrick? Like, glazed over. And then they start talking faster. And so what we want to encourage people to do is realize there are different stages of the customer journey. There's the networking part, which is the building. If you look up in the dictionary, it's building relationships on a social or professional level. Then there's the invitation to the conversion process, which is a Zoom call, a one-on-one, maybe it's a robust video, right? And then we invite them, they encounter the conversion experience, whatever you want to call that. And then that's when they decide to buy. They don't do it at the networking part.
And Tasha, tell me, what personally for you, what got you into the training side of things versus, because when you're in a company, you can also train, obviously, and you can build that organization and have relationships. There's advantages to both sides, but what got you into the training space and kept you there versus being, choosing some company to run with?
Yeah. So the way people feel about their products is the way I feel about sales training. So if you think back to that story with Chris, right, him learning how to sell shifted everything. Now, I did spend a stint in corporate America, and how I got into this is I was invited to a network marketing event by a friend. And I snarkily responded. I had 3 podcasts up because I wanted to help entrepreneurs. I was tinkering a little bit. And I snarkily responded, well, I'll come to your thing if you listen to the podcast. And she texts me later and she says, oh my gosh, I want to hire you. And so I was like, okay. And so I went to her presentation, and she was a coder. She's a former introvert, or she's still an introvert, former coder and introvert. And she was making $50 a month for 2 years straight. And then she made $450 the next month. And then her upline hired me, and she got 12 new customers that next month, which was more than the previous year. And then our upline, obviously I left my job at that point because I had $200 in clients. And as is the entrepreneur, right, Patrick? And so that person's upline hired me. We trained their whole team, and they went from 400 new customers to 800 new customers month to month. And so the way I feel about sales training, like, it's the way people feel about their financial services, the way people feel about their essential oils, the way people feel about their supplements. Like, I will wake up and be like, no, we gotta, like that. It's the same passion. So my product is, here's how to sell effectively and ethically and in a customer first mentality. And so when I first started, I got that question, like, you could be a whatever. And I said, I could, but then I couldn't help you.
Right.
Because I'd be over here helping my team, and then I couldn't help you. So one of the companies that we have a lot of clients in, they're $1 billion company now. Their kit sold out 3 times the first fall we started coaching their leaders. I couldn't have done that if I was on my own team. And so I think that there are a lot of tremendous network marketing leaders whose skills are networking, recruiting, launching, networking, recruiting, launching. And those same people that are so gifted at networking, recruiting, and launching are not the same people who write the technical training.
So say that one more time.
So the gifted networkers,
right,
the one where it's like, this is what you were to do. They are the ones who are gifted at networking, recruiting, and launching. And then there's the people like me who were not good at any of those things and had to figure out how to write down all the words. so
Right.
that we could awkwardly walk through it with our subpar people skills and
Right.
still make sales. I just think that that's a better place for me to partner with the industry.
I love it. So talk to me about this. What do you see as the biggest? Talk to me about the ratio, the numbers game aspect, right?
Sure.
Because over my career, I found that there were a lot of people who they didn't lack in the ability to learn or their current level of skill or competency, but they lacked the willingness, the desire, the understanding, or maybe the effort to do the requisite work, which is how many people did you talk to today?
Yeah.
And how many people are you following up with? How do you incorporate some of that? And do you see it as a significant problem?
Well, 100%. Right. You have a few different things that are involved there. I mean, you have to take action and you have to make offers in order to do any business, whether it's the cupcake company down the street or a network marketer. You have to have offers. I think where people get really discouraged is they understand it's a numbers game, but they don't know how to get to a polite no thank you. So they're burning the reputation. So one of the complaints that I'll have is this idea of don't worry about your reputation in the community. Like if they don't support you, so what? But most people have spent their entire life building their reputation.
They do care, right? To say that, right. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, totally.
And so I think that there's this idea that I need to not care about my reputation in order to do the numbers game. And I was at a network marketing event where someone stood up bravely to a 6-figure panel and said, how do I help my people to get over all the no's? And someone on the panel, obviously from the top of the mountain, said, well, you have to understand that every no is $18 once you get to the top rank. And the lady just sat down like, oh. And I just walked up and I was like, or you could get yeses. And she's like, what do you mean? I said, what if we just communicated in a way that we got yeses? And so what we look at, and I'll get to like the detail on the numbers, but I think there's a missing piece in the numbers. It's how do we actually invite someone in a way where we know that we are being authentic. We know we aren't tricking anyone. We know that if they decide to opt out, it's not going to ruin our relationship. And so we will coach our people.
Yeah, where it's a perfectly respectable answer. You know, they always teach in network marketing, people say you have to get out of your comfort zone. And that is true. You probably do. But we don't want them to get so far out of their comfort zone that they quit. I mean, what's the point if you make it so difficult for the rep, the distributor, and the prospect? If you make it so difficult for both, nobody wants to be involved. Like, even if you recruit them, they think to themselves, I don't want to do to my friends what you just did to me.
Yeah, that's right. And I think the answer is wording. So instead of like, hey, want to look at my product? Hey, want to look at my product? Hey, want to look at my product? What we will say is say something like this. You know, usually what I do is set up an appointment. We'll go over your health goals, a little about the company, most popular kits. My part will take about a half an hour. You don't have to get anything. If you see something you like, I'll help you order it. Is that something you're open to? That teaching people, adults, that, right? It is transparent. It gives trust, compassion, stability, and hope. It eliminates a lot of the objections, like how long is it going to take? Are you going to make me buy? And we say, we ask for consent, Patrick.
Right.
I mean, the whole philosophy of like, it's not a no, it's a not yet. Like, we're eliminating consent, and that doesn't feel good to eliminate consent in any of your relationships. And so we say, is that something you're open to? And they say, yeah, that's something I'm open to, because why not? You told me exactly what we talk about. And the number one part of the conversation is me, my goals. So it's only going to take a half hour. Why wouldn't I be open to that? And if they say, no, I'm not open to that, you can easily respond with no problem. If you change your mind, you know where to find me. And that ability to say that thing and handle the no thank you, what I have found gives people the bravery and the courage to do the invitations. One of the masterminds that we had a call this morning, and they're like, I scheduled 6 appointments this week, 4 appointments this week. I hadn't done anything in 6 months, and I scheduled 3 appointments this week. because they had a language to be able to be brave. That they need to
Right.
have, I think, words that match their authenticity. And so they might be authentic, but then they grab a script that doesn't match.
It doesn't match them, right?
It doesn't match them, and they don't
Right.
understand the structure on how to actually make it match them. And so what we teach them is like an agenda, a time frame, remove pressure, consent. And they're like, oh, I can do that.
It's cognitive dissonance, right? When your
That's right.
values don't match up to the language, and now you're being asked to do something that doesn't really mirror who you are, and it's very uncomfortable, and you're always going to fall out of it because it just doesn't match your personality.
Yeah, I think that's right. And so that part of it will increase bravery, but it also increases conversion. So if I invite 5 people with that, you're going to get 2 or 3 yeses versus needing 100. I had someone text me and was like, I know it's a numbers game, 1 out of 100. I was like, how would you even sustain that?
You would,
numbers. And I'll ask, like, you have 10 sales conversations, how many do you make sales to when we do our webinars and stuff for new people? They're like 1, 0, 2. I was like, that stinks. What about 5, 6, 7?
Right.
How much first you're going to be in the game longer, but your confidence is going to be different. And the person you're speaking to are like, wow, this was really comfortable, easy. I liked it. Maybe I could do it too. As opposed to having 1 out of 10, you only have 1 person who's into the product, 9 no sales. I mean,
and then you can identify your ratio, right? And then you can make it a numbers game, because now you know your personal ratio. And now you go, okay, well, if I need 5 more sales, I need to talk to X number of people, but not the other way around, where you decide a ratio and then you take a script you're not comfortable with, and then you try to get through a numbers game.
Yeah.
I
think that's right. And having someone explain the numbers is helpful. So when we say, here's what makes sense, let's shoot for this, because I think another thing that's really hard about network marketing is people being attached to the outcome. Sales in general, even corporate sales, right?
Right.
Like, I have 1 appointment, it's with Patrick. That person needs to buy. So now I'm attached to the outcome.
Yeah.
And so if you understand it's supposed to be 1 out of 2. And so I caught someone today. They're like, I have 4 appointments and my goal is all of them enroll. And I was like, no, we can't do that, because then we can't say, right, if you want to get something great, if not, no big deal, because we don't mean it. And that's when we start to become pushy, desperate, etc. So I think it's really important to understand how the numbers play out, because it's our job to invite, it's their job to decide, but we have to build value in the invitation. And that's, I think, the part people are missing. They get it's my job to invite, their job to decide, or they don't completely.
Right.
And their words are terrible.
Totally. Right.
It sounds like, it's like, Patrick, want to do the business? And I'm like, that sounds like either pooping or joining the mafia. The business. What is the business?
Right.
Versus, I don't want to make any assumptions. Would you like to know how to earn income or free product with this company?
Every aspect of enlightenment or mindfulness is about detachment, right?
Yeah.
It's just being in the moment, accepting what is. And people get so caught up. And then when they do that, then need comes in, and people sense it. Like there's a level of desperation in the sales process.
Yeah. I think that's exhausting.
It is, right. And that's a great point. I love that you always bring it back to what kind of energy is this going to bring me if I execute on it?
Yeah. Well, that's why we started our own businesses, right?
Yeah.
To
awesome.
Feel effective and impactful and like you're making a difference.
I can't help but ask, as you work with leaders and individual organizations, when it does come to the mindset piece, anything, suggested reading, methodologies, what do you try to do on that front? Because obviously their philosophy can greatly impact their ability to execute on some of your principles. How do you build that into the training?
Sure. So, I haven't found anything that believes that sales is honorable except for the work that I've done. It's usually very entrepreneur centered. So what I mean by that, it's like, it's not sales mindset, it's self mindset is a lot of what I've run into. And I think we have to look at what is sales and what does it mean? I don't know if this makes sense. This feels weird because I wasn't expecting it to go this direction. But I did write a book a few years ago called Customer First.
Yeah.
And so this is our philosophy. Our customer comes first, team second, ego third. And so what we want to do is we want to build a sales process that is enjoyable for customers. Because if customers are happy, then our team makes sales and they're happy, and then our ego is happy. Most mindset, sales training, leadership coaching is flipped. What is going to make me feel better? And then how do I do it for my team? And the customer is the last.
That is interesting. I mean, it's very obvious, in sales, but in network marketing, there's so much built around lifestyle and freedom and me and what I'm going to get out of it and how much money I'm going to make, and in turn, when we go to the market, sometimes it's about me versus, hey, can I serve? Can I create value in this relationship?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that is actually really demotivating. So a book, I guess, other than mine is Drive by Daniel Pink.
Mm-hmm.
So I read a ton of behavioral psychology because we're in the people business.
Mm-hmm.
It's the surprising truth of what motivates us, which is purpose, autonomy, and mastery. Purpose is, am I contributing to the world? Autonomy is, am I free to do what I want, when I want to do it, with whom I want? And mastery is this difficult enough? And am I getting better and better and better? This is why network marketing is so intriguing to so many people. Because network marketing, the design of it inherently hits all of the core internal motivation drivers, as long as we stay connected to it. Network marketing product, if it is not life-changing in some way, it won't exist. It will cease to exist in the market. And so you can be assured that your product line that you are representing makes the world a better place in, the target market that it addresses. And so people are very motivated by, I sold a product that helped someone. People are very motivated by the flexibility of, you don't have to, right? You can make as much as you want. You can work when you want. And mastery. But I think where people miss it is, I think each of us have a preference. So out of those three, Patrick, for you, which one is your core motivation driver? Purpose, autonomy, or mastery?
Probably purpose first and probably autonomy. Like I need independence, the freedom to do, but also the purpose part. If I'm out of alignment at all, honestly, I love them all. I mean, I'm a student. I like to get better, but I guess I would first have to just say purpose has to be first, right?
Okay. And I think everyone has all three of them, but they have one that just edges out.
Mm-hmm.
If you only focus on autonomy, because the money doesn't matter. It's the freedom that the money gives you. It's the freedom, the flexibility, it's the choice that it gives you.
Does money even come into purpose, autonomy, or mastery?
Autonomy.
It does.
Money is autonomy, because if I don't have, I want to be free to do what I want to do. So if I want to get on a plane to visit a friend who's had hard times, I can't do that without money. And so it's a conduit to freedom.
Right.
The research says. But when people just focus on money, if money were motivating, everybody would make it.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't line up with purpose, autonomy, mastery, then we have problems. And so what we do with people is we make sure that they're very clear that sales is noble. It is not pulling away. It's not a win-lose.
Right.
The definition of a sale is exchange of product or service for money. That's it.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to help people solve problems. That is a noble, helpful thing to do. And it also gives us some freedom. And the way we do it, we have some freedom, and it's hard. You master one level, kicks you up to the next level. We master one level.
I mean, it sounds like, we're almost beating that concept to death, but if that becomes your center, you start asking yourself questions like, am I 100% in on this product? Do
That's
I
right.
believe with every fiber of my being that I can go, versus if I come in for the money, I'll leave for the money and I'll jump around all the time. But if I'm really in it to serve, then I've got to believe with every fiber of my being that this is the right place for me and I need to get this story told.
Well, right. So when you think about people, you've been in the industry for a long time. And when you had people who were like, Patrick, I want to make a ton of money. Didn't you notice they had shallow roots?
Mm-hmm.
Why did they disappear 2 weeks later? Because they equated money. And then you were like, call your mom. And you're like, wait, I have to make money by calling my mom. But when you go with products, so when we would sell knives, we'd look at the sharpest person in the room, no pun intended, right? And we'd
Right.
make sure they cut the rope.
Yeah.
Because when they went, and automatically what they would think is, oh my gosh, my mom needs this, my aunt needs this, my cousin needs this, everybody needs this, all the moms need this, because we
Right.
were college students, right? We need that trigger to happen internally for them to be a motivated direct seller.
Yeah, that is interesting too, though. But I think about my 20-some year career, and it was never the product, actually. In this particular case, it was a service.
Yeah,
That
okay,
wasn't
fair.
the thing in networking that moved me from a purpose perspective. It was the fact that I was in a business where you could lock arms with people and help them have a vehicle where I could help them expand their
Yes.
mindset
Yeah, and
and
that's
believe
great.
something was possible. I found because over time, I just realized like these people, some people were so motivated by the product. And I'm like, dude, that's just not me. And I thought maybe there was part of me that actually thought inside, like, am I being a hypocrite or am I being, and I finally came to realize like, dude, this is a good product. I couldn't sell it if it wasn't good,
Right.
but that's not where my passion is. My passion is that you can change your life, right? I was severely dyslexic, failed the fourth grade twice, got, labeled a whole bunch. And then I found a vehicle where other people's perceptions of me didn't affect my identity, right?
Yeah.
Is that I built a business where I realized like I can go as far as I want to go. And that was the vehicle that I was going to help people, right?
Yeah.
Find congruency, find
Great.
purpose, find value. Anyway, just
Yeah.
for whoever
Well, I
out there
love that.
listening, going, yeah,
Well, and I guess the reason I go product now is because it's not 1990, right?
right,
We're in a new age where make money with network marketing isn't novel anymore,
right.
right? So if you look back 20 years, it was like, wait a second, what? Right?
Yeah.
And now you have network, I mean, you just walk out 10 feet of your house and you'll
Yeah.
bump into network marketing a few times. And
But
so
the
that's
truth
where I
is,
think
even then, if I could have aligned it more, I mean, I love health and nutrition and I'm so
Mhm.
passionate about it. The truth is,
Yeah.
had I found something even then more aligned, I probably, it would have been even better potentially.
Sure. And I think everyone's purpose is can be different. I don't think there's
Yeah.
one right purpose. So just
Right.
like here I am, we've coached 9,000 network marketers. I love direct sales and network marketing. But my mission, the part of me that is like, how do I make the world a better place, isn't through the products, it's through the training to get to the products, right? Yours was, gosh, guys, there's this opportunity and the sky's the limit. And here's the vehicle, where other people are like, I need to get this supplement in as many bodies as possible.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's okay, but it's helpful to understand that when it comes, in a business like network marketing, internal motivation is critical. And so you can have your upline be like whipping you on challenges or rank advancements and all of that. But without the internal motivation, it doesn't stick. And so that's why I love Daniel Pink's work. He also wrote To Sell is Human, which was, redeeming sales. There's a lot of really great authors in the behavioral psychology space that I don't think people are looking at as the answer to the problems that we haven't been able to solve yet.
That's awesome. Well, Tasha, who is wrapping up here? Tell me, who is an ideal customer for you and how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, that is a great question. Thank you so much.
You bet.
So we really focus on the fundamental sales and recruiting, wording, and processes. And so we have a couple people that we help with that. And then we do some strengths-based business coaching as well. The people that do best with us, we have like a little 8-week course that really does well for a lot of people. Professionals, people that are used to, we do really well with teachers, nurses, like people that are in corporate environment and come into network marketing. They're like, and everyone's like, figure it out. And I'm like, where's my new hire training? We do really, really well with those people, professionals that want to be professional in their network marketing. And it actually, like from an income level, it doesn't matter for that introductory, because people that are just getting their bearings, they're able to learn the fundamentals. And then the leaders that have done well enough are able to translate what they do into some duplication. We do work primarily with health and wellness network marketers. The sales process we use works really, really well, and then they're all speaking the same language. We do have a sub Facebook group for Christian network marketers, which is pretty cool. Although with our programs will serve anyone.
That's awesome. And then how do they reach you? Do they go to Emerge Sales Training, or?
Yeah, you can go to Emerge Sales Training. I think the easiest thing to do, if you like this podcast, is we have the book Customer First. You can get it on Amazon, or you can go to customerfirstbook.com. If you get the Amazon book, in the back has all the contact info, like our free Facebook groups, resources and stuff, and ways to contact us. And we are happy to be helpful.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today.
Thank you so much, Patrick. I appreciate your questions. You're a good one.
You bet. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for listening to Beyond the Network Marketing Dream with Patrick Shaw. For more insights on building a solid networking business, visit our website at rapidfunnel.com/MLM. If you loved our content, please share, like, and subscribe. We look forward to seeing you in the next episode.